Joining me on Impact Catalyst is Wilson Bautista, who's got a great new initiative called Project June Cyber Ohana to support veterans. And welcome, Will. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm living the dream. You're, as they say, just a one wood or whatever the golf term is away from where we are. You're in the Rising Tide Innovation Center. It's a great spot downtown St.
That's
Pete.
right. Yeah. Awesome. It's an awesome place. Love it.
So you just finished some work at USF, and now you're moving into this project to support veterans who are interested in cybersecurity. Can you give us a quick overview of the project?
Yeah. So the project in itself is partly because I wanted to help veterans transition into a career in cybersecurity, and because I'm a cybersecurity expert. Um, and I got out of the military in 2013, and I didn't really have a lot of time to transition. And I felt that the transitioning programs that they offered in the military, maybe it could have been better, but I wanted to focus on the cybersecurity career for them because it kind of lies in line with our core values of service. So I'm mixing in how do you explore a career in cybersecurity, but also how do you transition into civilian life? And it goes through a bunch of lessons learned about how I struggled with transition, mental health, as well as for, just common verbiage. So they go through this program, exploring a career in cybersecurity, figuring out what they want to do in cybersecurity, getting some hard skill and soft skill training, and then we help them get placed in companies. So right now, that's what we're doing. We're kicking it off, and we're very excited.
That's great. So, talk to me about the structure of the program. It sounds like you've got a little bit of subject matter stuff, but you've also got a little bit of more personal stuff. And then, as they go through the beginning part of the program, based on what their interests were specifically in the in the cybersecurity, do they have a couple different paths they can go down, or what's the structure look like?
Okay, so the program in itself has four phases. The first phase is two courses that I've developed. The first one is called Finding Your Career in Cybersecurity, the Veterans Edition. And this is the course where they explore their careers that they can pursue in cybersecurity using the National Institute for Standards and Technology publication called the NIST-NICE Framework.
Mhm.
And it's a pretty lengthy publication, and we go through the domains and we go through the roles in those domains, and we go over the knowledge, skills, and abilities that are required for each of those roles in each of those domains. And then we also talk about, okay, after you get out of the service, we're going to go into the transitioning part, like what kind of organizations are you looking at going to? There's a difference between a small organization, how it operates at a large organization. What industry do you want to go into? Because manufacturing and banking are two completely different industries with two different completely um, sets of compliance standards that they have to adhere to. So we kind of go on a gamut of that. Then we talk about emotional intelligence. We talk about empathy, things that when I was in weren't really talked about because empathy is just like, well, you're going to do it my way or the highway, and it's very hierarchical. Whereas you have to lead by example, and some of the times you have to lead without authority. So those are some of the lessons that I teach within the first phase of the courses. The second phase is after we kind of figure out where they want to go in the roles that they've seen in the first phase, we offer them core training as a cybersecurity analyst. Right, that includes a certification, examination preparation, foundational certifications that they can prepare for, as well as amplifying cybersecurity concepts that will help them prepare for a job interview, prepare for those roles that they are about to interview for. And then the third phase is really interesting, is where we start talking about career preparation. And it's not just like, okay, we're going to look at your resume and we're going to fix that. And we're going to get you ready for an interview and we're going to fix that. Now, we actually go through with our winter partners, a DISC assessment, and we go through Gallup Strength Finder. and we really honed down, okay, this is who you are, and this is what you said is important to you, and we tailor the job placement portion, the job search portion, which is phase 4, to focus on the organizations that will best fit their needs and their wants, so that when they come out of service or when they transition into cybersecurity with this new career, it's not like I just got a job and I'm happy with being cybersecurity. We want to make sure that they get trained. We want to make sure that they have the right environment where they're going to be successful in. And what makes it even better is that throughout the entire process, we have the concept of Ohana, which is family, right? And we want to create the same kind of brotherhood, sisterhood that we had in our services, because after you get out of the service, sometimes you feel isolated, and I know that's especially how I felt. So that's something that I don't want to feel again. I don't want my brothers and sisters to feel again. So why not create a community, a family of people that are supporting each other to succeed professionally in cybersecurity, but also, personally. So we have a group of folks that are dedicated to helping out, either through their funds or through their time, or mentoring. So we have a mentorship network that we're building, and it's great. So a lot of the feedback that we've got has been very positive, and the message has resonated with civilians and veterans alike. The fourth phase is actually the placement piece, is where we utilize our placement partner, winter partners, to help us help the candidate, help the student find the roles that they're for. They're going to walk them through the process and coach them through it.
So definitely a lot of the layers there. There's the the technical training, but a lot of the layers there do deal with emotion. Um, there's a varied, quite a variety of potential challenges for folks coming out of the military, from being in a very high leadership position to being at a more of an entry level position, to structure versus no structure. So, what are the common threads that cross all of these, or how do you sort of handle the varied nature of the type of support people may need?
So the first part of the course, the program, is that find your career in cybersecurity, where I kind of explain this like, okay, you've got out of the military, you had a successful career, you have ribbons on your chest, you have medals that, you've earned. When you get out, it's great that you've earned those things, but you have to realize is that businesses have to run, and thank you for your service, but how are you going to help me support my organization to meet its goals? So it's kind of taking a step back, letting the veteran take the step back and say, okay, I'm I'm in a new world. I may not have 500 soldiers, 500 Marines take care of anymore. But now I have to look at what does a lieutenant colonel in the army bring to the table to an organization?
Hmm.
And maybe that's taking a step back and learning how an organization functions. The military is so far different than a lot of organizations. Um, my experience personally is I went to a multinational corporation, and I had a hard time dealing with the matrix style leadership, and then dealing with folks with different cultures, and just trying to communicate not in a authoritarian way. Which, I was a captain, and I was just like, all right, hey, this is what we got to do, XYZ, let's go, let's get it done. Whereas I had to tailor, I had to, I guess, make my communication style different regarding the culture, regarding the needs of the person, and I'm just overcoming a lot of those things that you don't really think about doing in the military. So it's about education, and that's why we have that part in our program, is to educate the veteran. Hey, it is going to be different, and it's going to be difficult, but what we want to do is let you know that it will be a rough road. but at the same time, we want to let you know that we're going to try to smooth it out with some of the lessons learned that we have. So that's why we approach it from the beginning with some formal training, and then we look at it through the mentor's eyes. So it's not just coming from Wilson and the Project Jun Cyber, the core team. It's coming from folks that have transitioned out of the military that have been successful transitioning as well as successful in the field, and they're going to give them their life lessons and their tips and tricks in making it and transitioning.
On the technical side, how intense is the training? Is the idea that with the basic skills that you've learned in the military plus this training, are you ready to go into an analyst job after the training?
So that's the thing, right? It's not real world training, and this is where a lot of people get hung up on the job search, is that people want experience. What we offer are training for the job and also labs, so they get hands-on experience on the labs. What we want to do, also as an add-on and working with some corporate partners, is to get some internships or at least some time for them to work with different tools, so they could say, yes, I've gotten 100 plus hours on training as a security analyst, and I have experience using XYZ tools because I was an intern at this company. And that helps out the veterans, because that's what we're running into, is that we have a lot of people with certifications, but they don't have experience. And it's just like, all right, guys, we know where the gap is. So let's get you the training right now. We'll get you lab experience, and then we'll work through what needs to happen as far as getting a job. And will they have all the experience? Will they have everything that they need to be a security analyst after they get to the program? Well, it depends on how much they retain the information, and how much they're willing to learn, and how much they're able to show their potential um, learning path for an organization that wants them as a security analyst. Because each organization is different, and each organization is going to define analyst as something else. So they have the propensity to learn. You're able to show that they have the foundations set up. Let's set them up for success.
You're doing a GoFundMe right now, looking to raise about $30,000 to start the first few cohorts. What is your plan for sustaining the organization? Is it something that you hope to always be able to provide for free to the people that go through it? And if so, then where will the funds come from?
Yeah, so we would like to um, have this to go for no cost, little to no cost for the veterans. We have a strict application process where we want to make sure that the money that is invested in these students, they will go through the program and not have an issue. Um, Part of the revenue stream that we're looking at is the placement portion. We have an agreement with Winter Partners of how we could take the placement fees, and then cycle it back into the project in order to fund more students. So that's how we're looking at it from the front end. And so the GoFundMe right now is just to kickstart these few cohorts to go in, so we could put them through the pipeline. And again, as they go through the pipeline and potentially get placed with companies that we have partnerships with, then we just keep on feeding the machine that way. Other revenue sources are that we'll be applying for grants, and we'll be looking again for more corporate sponsorships, and partnering with other organizations that have the similar mission of supporting veterans and working some magic and getting on their budget schedule.
With all of that, then looking for corporate partners and other organizations, there'll be a fair bit of um, you know PR that you'll want to do to put yourself out there. So, how much of your time do you anticipate, uh, advocating for veterans in general, trying to inform corporations of the value of hiring veterans? Is that a big piece of what you're doing?
That's a big piece, and that's where we lean on a little bit of our placement partners to talk to these corporations. And we know that a lot of organizations know the value of hiring a veteran. It's now just putting the right veteran in front of the organization. So as we continue to move forward and we develop relationships with corporations and we spread the word of what we're trying to do and why it's different and why our students bring a lot to the table for their organization, we're hoping that that word spreads word of mouth, because that would be very cost effective. But also, as I'm very active on social media, I keep on putting it out there. Hey, this is what we're doing. I'm a big vet advocate in the area. In St. Petersburg, I have very good connections with the veteran community in Tampa. Just keep on growing. We have students nationwide, and they'll be advocates for our program as well. So, uh, that's how we're looking at marketing right now. Um, with our very little budget. So a lot of it's been bootstrapped at this point. And so far it's been working, and we've got some good traction.
Certainly worthy initiative. I love how layered it is, that it covers a lot of different aspects. It's one of the big struggles with programs, is that they're really great in specific ways, but it takes a little bit more of a layered or holistic approach to really um, you know serve the person in a way that's beneficial. So the way that you're covering a couple of different aspects of needs under one uniform approach is great.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that there are a lot of programs, right? There are programs that help veterans get trained. There are programs that help veterans get placed. But again, it's like you said, I wanted a holistic approach. I wanted to not just be a training entity. I wanted to have a partner that understood the value of what my idea brings to the table, and that's why we partnered with Winter, because we want to support people, we want to help veterans. And then the last part of it is the community, right? I want to build a community, and that's something that you don't see. It's just usher in, usher out folks. It's not like that for me. It's not like that for the my organization. Our company culture is all about supporting the students, supporting the veterans, supporting the spouse in finding their career wherever, at the beginning, at the end, and during the entire process.
Well, we'll keep watching. Best of luck, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.